Verse and chapter. Reference!
What's this?
We've been delighted! We've been delighted!
I've got the Quran!
We've been delighted!
Because I know
we've been delighted!
there are people like him!
Premeditated! We've been delighted!
Their Quran.
That's why I'll walk away. Let him deal with you like brother.
Don't walk away, because I'm getting the Quran out!
I don't talk to brick walls. I'm
going to get the Quran out!
Live yourself, don't leave me.
You like calculus, huh?
You're scared, are you?
Nevertheless,
You don't trust your Quran!
Speak! I'm going to silence myself! I'm a silent critic!
He wants me to quote from the Quran. When I get the Quran out, he's walking away.
So my brother.
Yes. When I get a quote from the Quran.
Forget about him.
I'm a welcome guest,
He's
am
gone.
I? That's Sahih International.
Should I ask my
we have
question?
those out for free. Outside South Kensington Museum. History and Natural.
Right.
I'm having a chat. A chat to a surgeon,
Okay, well,
retired King's graduate.
What it says
Maxillofacial.
in chapter 8,
Stuff that, bro.
verse
That's what they said in
61
Guantanamo.
of the Quran,
They said, let's throw these
it
Qurans
says,
away. The people,
and
the
if
Muslims, they handed their
he
copies
inclines
right.
towards
They said,
peace,
if you want to desecrate
then he
them,
inclines
do that.
also
Sorry to
towards
shout.
peace and
And
rely
then
on
people
Allah.
memorized the Quran.
So I
And
say
the Korean
Palestinians,
lawyer
do
in
what the
Guantanamo
Quran
who was
says.
representing
Never
them.
make peace
Thank
with
you.
Israel.
And the detainees,
Quran says
detainers,
so.
also many of them
But no,
became
you won't.
not like him. Are you Muslim? Not like him. Shall I keep staying? Or is there no more room here? There isn't any room for strangers.
Now bear in mind,
Peace be upon Mary, son of Jesus. Who's the son of Jesus? Maybe when he comes, he'll have a son. Who's the son of Mary? Who's the son of Mary? Jesus of Nazareth.
Allah will punish them.
Chapter 19. The Quran.
I give you victory over them.
Chapter 19.
But
Read it. What does it say about the Jews? Go on. What's the promise? Talk about the new Turai Carter last week. They're there marching outside the Palestinian, the Israeli embassy for the cause of the Palestinians. My Jewish brethren with a political affluence. Yes. With an affliction for people like yourself.
Brother, relax.
You're sitting on the fence.
In
You're standing on
1973, the Arabs again
go now?
attacked Israel.
Did he use a reference?
Did Allah fight for the Arabs? No, Israel won. I'll read it again. Chapter 9, verse 14. Fight with them, it's very memories. Fight with them. God will punish them by your hands. Will disgrace them and give you victory over them. That's what it says in the Quran. But every war, Allah never supports the Arab Muslims when they attack Israel. Why? Because in the Quran it says the children of Israel will return. So when you fight against them, kick the Jews out, you can't win. You're not just fighting Israel, you're fighting against Allah and his prophecies.
Not British page agent.
I got a question here.
Do you like living in Israel? Is it nice being out of a Muslim country? Where are you from? Where are you born?
We don't
Where
do
were you
nationalism,
born?
I don't do pride, I don't need to know for you to know what's inside.
Oh, one of those countries you don't to say where you're from. When I compare you with all these people around here, the Japanese don't act like that. Chinese don't, South Americans don't, sadly, the Arab Muslims, so many like him.
Because you have nowhere to go, huh? Nowhere you have.
If you want Sharia law,
So I'll sit down, call me
obey that man.
I may know something, but I know
Do you know what disgusts me?
So that's how I
Yazidi women are being taken by men like this man here.
Yes, what?
Silently, Yazidi women taken by men like him.
Peaceful like the new Turai Carter,
Yeah.
the Jews of Israel, who say they don't want this
Anyway,
state. So keep talking.
Muslims, you've got a good book in the Quran.
Hey, I've been
If you
raising
follow
that for a
it,
long time.
God will bless you.
My brother.
But if you go against it, He will give you life of hardship.
How we go
Like it
against
says
it?
in the Quran.
How we go against it?
My brother, let me ask you a question. Because you
Yeah.
like to talk to me, you don't like people shout. Let's go. Let me.
I had to shout. He was shouting me down. You might have noticed.
Okay. Let's talk about people of today. We're not people of 400 years or 200 years.
I didn't say a word.
Let me just ask my question. A recent situation in Ukraine being invaded by Russia.
Yeah. against international
Let me
law.
please talk. Let me ask my question.
Carry on, for goodness sake.
We had Israeli government hosted 40,000 Jewish Ukrainians.
Yeah.
And I saw in my eyes on the TV the government Israeli said, we're glad Jewish go back to their land. My question will go back to our conversation area about the settlement. Those 40,000 Jewish people, they're going back to live in that settlement.
No, we don't know where they're going to live.
Listen,
You're making that up.
Listen, let me
Most of them are going to Tel Aviv, Haifa, and Beersheba.
Let me finish. So, the government say this is land of Jewish people. And you say this is not temporary land and they're going back on the beach. So, I don't believe you are a true person. I believe what the government says that's it.
Well, first of all, you've spoken, now it's time for me. Those 40,000 refugees from Ukraine are doing what most refugees do. They are in camps in Israel, learning Hebrew, and then they will be sent somewhere. You have lied and said they've been sent to the West Bank settlements. No, they're mostly still in those camps. So many of them have got relations in Israel. Places like Hyde, Tel Aviv, Beersheba, and they'll be going there. But you just make up that they're going to settlements.
I don't make up. I just want to have the Israeli government say.
No, the Israeli government hasn't said they're going to the settlements.
This is my argument. Do you think in this settlement there's no non-Ukrainian Jewish people in this land of settlement is occupied by Israel? You're talking about the settlement being taken, not about Israeli border. You don't believe there's any Ukrainian family staying there?
Of those 40,000 refugees who've come over, I very much doubt there's any of them. There may be other Ukrainians who came over years ago. So I expect some of them may live in settlements. I don't know.
So why Ukrainian coming, not those people, the one before, come to live in that settlement? They don't have houses.
I've answered you so many times. Don't you ever listen? Do you know how many times you've asked me that exact question? Do you? Got the idea of how many times you've asked me that exact question? And each time I answer it.
No, I'm talking about Ukraine or European people who's come from Europe.
Yes, you've said that many times.
To live in that settlement. I'm not talking about Jewish people moving from one city to that settlement. My question is, why European Jewish people, they know this settlement does not belong to Jewish, it belongs to Palestinians, but why they come and live here?
I've answered you so many times. But I'm a patient man, I'll get mad otherwise. Those settlements are mostly temporary settlements.
I'm talking about European.
Yes, I'm answering. You spend ages asking me a question, and I will spend a while answering you. And every time I want to clarify to you, say, stop, you're not letting me speak. So let me speak. All those settlers, wherever they come from, whether it's direct from American settlement or from Tel Aviv to settlement, they know that the Israeli government says when there's a peace deal, some of those settlements will be in Israeli, some will be in Palestine, and the Palestinians will get some land from Israel in lieu of it.
I think you don't.
That's what's I understand.